crypto bridge airdrops are going to be some of the biggest in 2024. And now that Wormhole has already announced its W token, it's time to focus on the remaining big high value targets. And so I thought it would be interesting to do an experiment where I funded a completely fresh wallet with around $100 worth of ETH and then target high value bridges like Jumper, D-Bridge, Layer 0 Labs, etc. to just transfer that money between different ETH L2s until most of it's gone, and then see how much I actually get from airdrops for doing that. Is it going to be 5x what I pay in transaction fees, 10x, less? And so I decided to actually do it. About a week ago, I transferred 0.054 ETH to a fresh wallet. I've named it the Bridge Experiment Wallet, and I have been transferring that on different bridges and different L2s until most of it is gone. And so in today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did, what my strategy was. In some cases, actually, I was trying to be a little bit random to make it look more natural. And I'll show you what the breakdown is by the numbers and discuss which routes I decided to take and which bridges I prioritized. And then we're going to have to wait and see what results from this experiment actually come. So for starters, what were the actual bridges that I was targeting? These are, in my opinion, some of the remaining high value targets because each of these interact with a tokenless bridge or protocol that could have a lucrative airdrop. And so my main targets were Jumper or Li-Fi. And this is actually a great one because when you bridge, you can select a different route and sometimes actually hit multiple airdrop targets at once. So for example, you can bridge using Jumper, but also hit the Stargate or the Layer 0 airdrop. Other bridges I used include Bungee, D-Bridge, Orbiter Finance, because they have a point system and they're actually going to be launching their own ETH L2. Then I was using Al2. I used the Stargate Finance bridge actually through apps like Jumper and Rango, but also I used it at least once, maybe twice, directly as well. Then there's ZK Bridge for Polyhedra's airdrop. Then I used the Merkley Refuel and NFT bridges to hit Layer 0, Polyhedra, and Hyperlane. Then I used Rango Exchange, which is kind of similar to Jumper, that it aggregates different routes, and sometimes you can use this to hit a 2-for-1 as well. So I definitely like Rango. And then finally, I also used the gas.zip application to refuel via the Layer 0 protocol. So those were the targets. And then in terms of the different Layer 2 networks that I hit, there was about 15 of them. Some I actually transferred to, but didn't transfer from. Like Gnosis Chain, actually I transferred some NFTs to Cello as well. But yeah, I hit all of these different networks. Eventually I started focusing on ones that I could get cheaper transactions on. So think Base, Optimism, Polygon, Binance, and AVAX. Those are some of the cheaper options out there. And each little X you see on this chart here indicates one transaction. So in total here, we're looking at over 60 distinct transactions, and the total bridge volume is conservatively well over 3,200. I say conservatively because I just did sort of a rough estimate for each transaction. I didn't actually pinpoint the exact dollar figure. But also some of the transactions I completed were refuels, so to send a very small amount to pay for gas on different networks, and others were to bridge NFTs using some of these different bridge protocols. Now, in terms of how I actually went about it, for starters, I decided to begin my journey on the base L2 because you save a lot of money on transaction fees if you don't have to start on the Ethereum mainnet. Then I actually decided to spread it all out over the course of a week because I figured that it was better than just doing it all on one single day. However, realistically, it would be even better to spread it out over the course of multiple months. Now, I'm not recommending that you actually follow in my footsteps. For one, because this route that I completed here isn't necessarily optimized for maximizing your capital efficiency, but also I don't even know whether or not this is going to be a successful experiment. It's highly possible that I just burned all of this money and might not actually get anything from it. Although I do think that I will qualify for at least some allocations from these different protocols. Now, in terms of my approach, I started off trying to optimize for routes where you could get rebates on different tokens. So for example, Jumper and Bungee have a couple of incentives on right now where you get rebates in OP tokens and ARB tokens. Then actually I realized that you don't get those rebate tokens until sometimes weeks or months later. So I kind of threw that out the window. My next approach was to just sort of hit a bunch of different L2s at the beginning to sort of tick these different boxes. Also, On Orbiter Finance, they had a point system on where you got bonus points for bridging to pretty much every different network. So in this sense, I tried to hit most of these different networks at least one time to max out the points here. And for day 1 and day 2, I took kind of a randomized route and I just did what I felt like doing. But then on day 4 and day 5, then I actually started honing in on which transactions were actually the cheapest and what would help me get the most out of my total bridge volume and hit the most different protocols. And one thing I'll say is that if you want to look at some capital efficient or cost maximized routes, the day 4 route is one of the cheapest days in terms of I did a lot of volume and each of these transactions was quite cheap. I really focused on this day on just generating different transactions. Now, the most expensive chains were for sure Linea. Also, Arbitrum ended up being more expensive than I thought it would be, and a couple of the other ones like the Polygon, ZK EVM were quite expensive. Now, I'm not gonna walk you through literally every single transaction that I did. I'll throw a link to this spreadsheet down below, so if you want to, you can actually go through it yourself. But let me touch on some of the key features. So for starters, on Jumper, the process is pretty simple. Once you connect your wallet, you select the network you're transferring from and to, but you can also transfer different tokens. So for example, I could transfer ETH on Base to USDC coins on the Optimism network. And then like I already mentioned, I could use Jumper to route through different bridges as well. So I used it a couple of times to transfer via the Stargate Finance bridge and hit layer 0. Then Bungee is a different one because it's kind of on its own. It uses the socket protocol. So I did use the transfer feature and the refuel feature to send different assets to different networks. Although the Bungee bridge, I didn't hit nearly as much as some of the other ones. For example, Stargate, I did hit quite a few times, and Merkley's refuel feature I found was quite good, and I used Merkley quite a lot to transfer NFTs. Now, dBridge is another one that I've made a full tutorial for on my channel. It's pretty simple, but it has less options. So there's only about 10 different networks that you can transfer to and from on dBridge Finance. So I didn't use it quite as much because it's a little less versatile. Orbiter Finance, like I said, what I did was try to maximize the points, the O points that you can get. And you can transfer to and from different networks on Orbiter Finance, but for the average transaction, you only get 3 points. However, they have these different incentive campaigns on where you can get points boosts for doing specific transactions to specific networks. So all these ones that are grayed out here, you can see that I hit, and I just tried to maximize the points that I could get. So I ended up with 55 total O points as a result of that. Then Altu Finance is another one that is very similar to Orbiter Finance. They have a point system on, and I used it a couple of times, but nothing special. Stargate Finance, I've already mentioned. Now, the ZK bridge is interesting, and I use this for a couple of different things. For starters, I used the token transfer to send assets between these different networks, but I also used their NFT bridge to mint an NFT and then transfer it. And then I also used their OpBNB bridge. And this is literally just to transfer tokens between the Binance Smart Chain and OpBNB network. And I used this at least once. So between all of that, I hit a bunch of different interactions on the ZK bridge, which is for the Polyhedra airdrop. Then next up, Merkley is an interesting one because you can use it to hit layer 0, Polyhedra, and also Hyperlane. So I did use it for ONFT bridging via layer 0. I did a gas refuel or 2. Then I skipped Wormhole, obviously, because the snapshot already occurred. For Polyhedra, I also did some NFT bridging as well as gas refueling. And then for Hyperlane, the refuel feature isn't currently enabled, but I did bridge some HFTs, when you mint a token and you bridge it, as well as HNFTs. Now, the thing about these transactions is that they're kind of expensive and they literally just burn money, but they don't actually establish bridge transaction volume. So I tried to be a little bit conservative with these and focus a lot more on actually bridging volume. Rango Exchange is actually one of the favorite ones that I use because it's super versatile. It's enabled on all of these different networks, and it's very similar to like Jumper, where you can transfer different tokens on different networks. So for example, on Binance, I could transfer ETH and have that come out on the Avalanche network as AVAX. And then finally, I really love the gas.zip refuel feature because it's super cheap and easy to use, and each time you use it, it triggers an interaction with layer 0. So I did use this a couple of times. Now the thing about bridging to and from all of these different networks is that each time you do, you usually end up leaving behind a small amount of money on the different networks that you hit. And so at the end of it, if that money is sort of orphaned or on an island there, it's basically capitally inefficient and you've wasted that money. However, that's what the refuel features of Merkley and gas.zip are great for, is that at the end of this, what I did, and you can see here, if we look at day 5, I basically just refueled as much as I could or burned the money bridging NFTs just to maximize it and to use as much as I could. So I'm actually pretty pleased with the total results. I ended up getting a decent amount of total bridge volume. Obviously on day 1, it was worth a lot more, but then as you start burning money, it becomes more difficult to generate actually bridging volume. Now, in terms of strategy, I do think that it would be better, like I said, to spread it out even more than just like a 1 week that I did here. But I also realized as I was going through this that it's also a good idea to end up with a minimum balance in the wallet, not to just literally burn all the money until it ends up at 0. And so what I thought to do that would be a good anti-Sybil measure is to finish by bridging some of what I ended up with from the base L2 to the Ethereum mainnet using the base official bridge, and that way I can have some funds on ETH mainnet. It's possible that some of these projects that drop tokens could try to weed out Sybils by saying, oh, you only get the jumper or Li-Fi airdrop if you had a 0.01 ETH balance on mainnet, and then also maybe transact it at least once on mainnet. So I'm going to finish by bridging from base to ETH mainnet, and then once that comes through, takes about 7 days, then I'll make 1 or 2 transactions on the Ethereum mainnet, and I think that will help the wallet be anti-Sybil. For protocols that have these point systems like Orbiter, I feel like it's less of a big deal, but other ones where it's a little bit more opaque as to where the airdrop is going to come from, like Stargate and Layer 0, for example, it's good to keep in mind some of these anti-Sybil things. So yeah, that is how the experiment is going to go. Now we just have to sit back and wait for the results. So stay tuned for more. And as these protocols actually drop tokens, I'll give updates on how this strategy actually performed. I did start with a little bit more than the $100 than I said I was going to, but really that helped me get much more bridge volume, and it allows me to leave something in the wallet at the end as an anti-Sybil measure. So thanks so much for watching and have a great day.